Hey, everybody. Welcome out to another episode of Windshield Time at Mountainland Supply. I'm Joey. I'm joined by Spencer C. Shorts.
Yep. You are.
6 words.
Charles.
Wow. That is so much. So nice.
That was 7 words, but that's okay.
Fine, whatever.
Also joined by Natalie Bartholomew. Thank you for coming on.
Anytime.
The lies have already started. And Bruce Samuel Egbert.
Good to be here.
Natalie, do you have a middle name?
Anne.
Anne?
Man.
Anne?
Yeah.
You and Tina have the same middle name?
Yeah. You know, Tina and I grew up a couple streets
I
apart.
did
go
know
way
that,
back.
Yeah.
but I didn't know that until like a few months ago when you told me.
Yeah.
But yeah, her middle name's Anne.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, hail from Santaquin. Did you go to Santaquin Elementary?
I did.
You're a chieftain.
I am.
That is awesome. Well, all of my kids are chieftains at one point. Now they're, I can't remember
Point of
what they are now.
clarification.
They're
What is a
rams.
chieftain?
Well, that just shows you how uncultured this swine is.
I'm a bee digger, so keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
I do. I'm going to start talking slower and using smaller words. A chieftain. What do you think a chief is? A group of chiefs would be chieftain. Like, look at the chieftain over there. So Santaquin is named after Chief, well, let's say Chief Santaquin, right? Yeah, something like that. It's
That
Chief
sounds
Squash, Chief Squash Head, or the Squash Head Indians. You need to go to Spring Lake and look at the marker on Spring Lake.
So did you go there too?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm a Taylor Tiger, dude. That was my elementary school.
Wow.
Santaquin used to be like K through 12,
Okay.
but now, no, I guess they were originally, but then they were like through 9th grade, and then 10th through 11th went to Payson.
So I'm like now going back through in my head all the mascots. So Altera Kitty Hawk.
Kitty Hawk.
We were down we fed into Alta High School.
Oh, okay.
So the Hawks.
Yeah,
Kitty Hawks, you get it. Park Lane Panthers.
Kitty Hawk.
The Eastmont Patriots.
That's a good one, though. I could appreciate that.
And the Jordan Beat Diggers.
Which is that is the only one that's worse than a dong.
Okay, no. Let's go through this. We had an opportunity to switch
Yeah.
to be something more commonplace like an eagle.
Yeah.
Lame.
Don't
The
diss on
hawk.
the eagle.
Eagles?
Lame.
You ever seen an eagle?
A panther.
Panthers
Lame.
are lame.
A beet digger. The sugar beets. Think about it.
We were driving the other day, so we went out to my daughter had a dance competition at Magna High, and they're building a new high school. I didn't know that, but we were in the old high school. Do you know what they are? They're the Pirates,
The Magna Pirates?
Magna Pirates.
Oh.
I don't know where that came from or anything,
Yeah.
but we started talking about mascots, and Tawny's like, "Wasn't Bruce a beet digger or something?"
And then a moment of reverence.
Yeah,
upon the crowd, like,
reverence just blanketed in laughter. Yes.
yeah, my kids give me a hard time. Like, why? And so I have to give them the story about the sugar beets. They used to go every summer.
It was a cash crop, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they would go up to Idaho. So how it stuck with Jordan, I'm not quite sure.
Well, you know that there's, that big tower in Spanish Fork off the freeway?
Yeah.
It's a pallet factory right now. That used to be where they would process sugar beets.
Okay. So there's a connection. You're welcome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Jordan High School. Keeping it real. Class of 99.
99.
You just aged yourself, bud.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I know.
Did you go to Payson High then, Natalie?
I did.
You're a lion.
I am.
I knew there's something good about you.
I thought they were the Payson Panthers.
No, Payson
No.
Lions, brother.
Payson Lions.
Yeah,
Okay.
Payson Lions.
I mean, that's generic. That's fine.
Generic. One person's generic is another's classic. Lions. That is a fearsome animal. You ever seen a lion attack a freaking giraffe? Because I saw that on YouTube the other day. That was awesome. And I didn't ever see a beet digger with his spade up there trying to take down a giraffe.
Correction. It was a sickle.
Sickle.
A very sharp sickle.
Oh my gosh. This went way off the rails, Natalie. I am so sorry. So how many years have you worked at Mountainland?
It'll be 7 next month.
7. Holy cow. Feels like 7 weeks, right? Because it's been so much fun.
7 weeks on a roller coaster.
7 weeks on a roller coaster / treadmill.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, because people who don't know, Natalie has a treadmill at her desk, and she gets, how many steps do you normally get a day?
Somewhere between 40 to 50,000.
1,000,
my.
folks. That is 1,000. 40, 50,000.
How many miles
You are
does that?
killing Alzheimer's, by the way. Because Alzheimer's, they say if you get 10,000 steps, you beat Alzheimer's. I don't know if they do, but my wife says that, so she always tries to get 10,000. You are destroying Alzheimer's.
How does that
You're going to be sharp as a tack.
translate that into miles?
It's like 23 and a half or something.
You're like doing a marathon a day.
But it's just walking, so it's not like you're
Oh,
like
it's just
running.
walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still pretty dang impressive.
I feel like we need another walking challenge. Round 2. I'm ready.
Yeah, no.
We
I
should do
remember
that.
the last walking
We're coming up on a
challenge.
good one.
It was like Natalie and then the rest.
Maybe we should do like Natalie versus Natalie walking challenge.
Yeah.
Like you try and beat your old record.
Perfect.
Okay. We'll start there. It'll be a challenge of one.
Man.
And we'll get you a really nice gift card to the fast food joint of your choice.
No, she needs running shoes. Like you're burning through shoes all the time.
That's true.
Because you walk in Hey Dudes.
I walk in Hey Dudes and Hokas.
So Hokas are your shoe of choice.
I've tried them all, and Hokas are my shoe of choice.
Because you got to be burning through shoes very quickly.
Yeah. You probably process their shoes like mad.
It might be the one thing I spend most of my money on.
You work to buy shoes. I do too. Me and Bruce do the same thing.
Mine just last longer because I don't walk.
Yeah, I walk 0.0. That's what I do. Have you seen those, like the 0.0 I don't run stickers that people put on their cars? Morgan Evans had one of those on his car forever. I laughed every time. So where did you start when you first came to Mountainland?
AP.
AP. So you went right into AP.
I started as a clerk, yeah.
Okay. Where did you come from? What was your other job that you came from?
So oddly enough, it was not in finance.
Really?
It was working with families who had their kids removed.
Really? So social services type of thing?
Yeah.
Really? That is a huge departure from that. That was probably a pretty hard career.
It was tough. So I worked at a place called the Family Support Center,
Okay.
and they had a parenting program to help reunite kids like with their parents if they had been taken away.
So I get that's a little bit on the lighter side of I guess that process, right? Because you could have been on the other end of it when they're separated from their parents.
Well, so they were, some of them were, and then they were working to get them back.
So you saw both ways.
So yeah, both ways.
That had to be hard.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
It made the things you had going on seem much less big.
Pretty small, right? Yeah.
How long did you do that for?
Almost 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd be long for that. I have a pretty soft heart. I don't know if I could handle that.
It is an interesting career choice, but I feel like
Yeah.
it also helps you see. It puts problems in perspective.
For sure.
Like
Yeah.
what you have going through is probably way different than what a
Right.
lot of people are going through. But I
Yeah.
feel like it helped me a lot in my career here because I feel like I can work with almost anyone.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's like,
Everything pales in comparison to
Yes.
that. Yeah. Were you recruited by anybody?
maybe Miss Hatfield.
Okay. Well, we established last time when I talked to her that I recruited her, even though
Perfect.
she's struggling to admit it. But I mean, I worked here, and then she got a job here. So, and I loved her work at the San Francisco Sourdough Eatery.
Oh,
She was amazing. She was like the freaking quintessential manager. Like, she was so good. She would see my truck roll into the parking lot. She'd already be making my sandwich because I'm a creature of habit and I like only a certain few things. But she was awesome at it. And when she was getting a job here, I was like, she'll freaking kill it because she's just that person, you know? So she recruited you.
Yeah, we used to go to lunch like 3 or 4 times a year. And the one time she's like, "You're going to come work with me." And I was like, whatever.
I love assumptive sales. That is so
then
good.
A couple months later, she's like, "So you need to come meet Ellen."
Yeah.
And so I came and met with Ellen. And then like 6 weeks later, she was like, "So remember how I said that we might have an opening? So I'd really like you to come in." And then
Was she in AP then?
no, she was
She was
in AR.
Okay. Because she bounced back and forth a little bit between the two.
Wait, was she in AP?
I don't know.
I think she was. She was in AP when I
Was she-
started.
It was during that time.
Yeah.
And you were not remote, right? We weren't remote at that point.
We were not remote.
Okay.
So I started in 18, and then around November of 19, they said, hey, we'd like you to be the manager.
Yeah.
And I was like, what could go wrong?
Pre-COVID.
Never looked back, did you?
And I was like, we'll try. What it was a little bit of a hot mess at that time.
Yeah,
so
I would say
was
so.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, can't get any worse.
Yeah.
God only can go up.
Yeah.
So
Well, and you've had to manage, a growing company, which anytime you grow, you will go through times of tighter cash positions and, filtering through vendors and that sort of thing. That's probably been pretty challenging over the years for you.
it has been, because there was times that like you have to maintain relationships with them, but
Yeah.
not always be able to say, we can pay you.
I'm paying you tomorrow, right? It's like, hey, you're in line and here's what our growth plan, and you're just not part of it today, maybe tomorrow, That's those are hard conversations to have,
Yeah.
and you've had a lot of them over the years. Thankfully, right now, you don't have to have as many of those conversations.
Right now, we're sitting pretty sweet. Like, if we could just ride out like this, I'll be fine.
Is it birthday
That's
week
our plan.
every week for you?
I haven't got birthday week in years.
Wait a minute, what's birthday week?
Birthday week is where I'm supposed to get to pay everyone, no questions asked, as much as I want.
Like it's everybody's birthday.
It's everybody's birthday, but it's my birthday because I don't then have to filter or do anything extra.
Because it's happened once.
I love that.
One time,
One time.
I got birthday week once, and I think it was in 2019.
Why don't we work toward that, Bruce?
Well, I think we're trying.
let's give her a birthday week.
Sometimes we have birthday days.
When you have carrier
Or birthday
to
hours.
to contend with,
Yeah.
those are that's a big birthday cake that you got to buy.
It is.
Yeah. So what's your favorite part of your job? And I'm going to ask you your least favorite. So
I would say my favorite part is all the people that we get to work with and my team. Like, my team makes coming to work
easier.
easy.
Yeah.
Because they're just so fun, and we have so much fun together
Yeah.
that it's like, regardless of what's going on with work,
Yeah.
that we just like get through everything. I feel like anything can get thrown at us, and we just like keep going.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. I'm going to have a follow-up question to that. But first, what's your least favorite part of your job?
Not having enough money.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. I could have filled in the blank. So, follow-up question
Filtering.
to your first answer. How do you keep that close bond with all your people? Because not everybody is on site. How do you manage to, keep a close bond with a team that isn't in the same building all the time?
It's tough. We do quarterly lunches where we go by region and go out and have lunch with them. But we also have the challenge of the Wichita.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't just jump on a plane and go to lunch. I'd love to.
As much as you would like to.
It doesn't always make financial sense to be
Yeah.
like, hey, by the way, it's going to cost us $1,000. I'm going to lunch.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't always. And 3 days because
Yeah.
it takes a while to get there. That's an interesting challenge that really the accounting department within the company, it's not exclusively, like your problem to have remote workers, but it's a pretty big thing for you guys to try and strike a balance between, having the flexibility to let people work remotely, but then also try and maintain that team atmosphere. And I got to say, you've done a really good job of balancing that.
Well, and it's a lot of like making sure you have your one-to-one with them, checking in, even just starting the day by like sending them a GIF or something and just chatting and just still kind of
Keep it light.
keeping it light, but having that relationship with them
Yeah.
so that when they are going through something, they want to talk to you about it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Be that first call for them.
Yeah.
And have them comfortable enough that they want to talk to you. Yeah. That's huge.
Well, and I think the thing with Natalie that always sticks out about me, the 5 years that I've known you, you just care.
Yeah.
You care about people. You care about everything. That's just like the theme with you is you care about the process. You care about our customers. You care about our vendors.
Yeah.
And it just comes through. And so your people, you're just a joy to be around.
Even when you have to have that difficult conversation with the vendor, you try and do it in a way that's like, hey, we're not abandoning you. It's just, this is the plan. And hopefully you're okay with the plan. Right. So who do you have that reports directly to you?
So right now we have 9, including me, on the AP team. So we have Rachel Pratt, who is the assistant accounts payable manager. And then we have Jen Thompson, who does the Carrier HVAC BDP world.
Right.
And then we have Kennedy Clausen, who does all of our statements
Yeah.
with our fancy Zelix software.
Yes.
And she's going to be taking on the Ideal
Oh, really?
piece of the AP realm.
Which, for those who don't know, that's more of our truck outfitters / power equipment. Well, more just power equipment, right?
Yeah.
Because truck outfitters is on an even different ERP,
I like to keep things
which adds
complicated.
its own complexities to everything, right? That you guys all get to measure in the balance of everything. So, okay, keep going.
And then we have Kelsey Ortiz, who does all the expenses, and she does EBMS. So
Okay.
she's the one that's running the truck outfitter side of it.
Okay.
And then I have Hassini Fernando, and she is out at the tap, and she's working forward mowing a lot of our bigger vendors
Yeah.
and just keeping them all clean and happy.
So I had lunch with her yesterday, and she is a delight.
She is
Yeah, she's got a great personality. She's a lot of fun.
so fun. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, is we have such a fun group that it just makes getting together and like having meetings and stuff fun.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, and I get this from our vendors when I meet with them, they always talk about how nice it is to work with your department. You know, they don't get, it's easy for us to say this because we have you and your team, but it's not very often that a vendor gets to like the personality on the other end of the phone, you know, with somebody who's paying the bills. And they're always just so grateful. They're like, man, your team is just great. You know, we know we can always call them. They'll always answer. They'll always give us the answer to the questions. So, that's a little bit of a kudos to you and your team. People do like to work with you guys. So, was that your 9? Did we?
No, so we have
Okay.
Liddy Thompson, and she reports to Rachel.
Okay.
And then we are currently hiring too.
Ooh, there you go. Breaking news. Da-na-na, da-na-na.
Yeah.
Open position.
Somebody might be out for Mike Funk. No, just kidding.
I mean, we're down a Chiefs fan, which is never a bad thing.
Yeah, it's okay. She's a great person. Yeah. Despite the Chiefs' interest, you know.
She has been a great asset and a great team member,
Great
but
person.
it just makes more sense for their family right now for
for
her
sure.
to go back to home. And we always, as much as we want to be like, have them work here, if
Yep.
it's a better fit for them to be home, like
Yep.
Yeah.
that's your number one concern
It
all
should
day,
be all
every
of our
day.
number one concerns. Yep.
And then Callista, who recently joined the team, she's probably our newest member. She has also decided to stay home with her kids. So
Which, I mean, we all make decisions for our families, and kudos to anybody for making a decision like that, because that's not an easy one. Because I know that both of them really love working here. And so it's probably been a difficult situation for them to have to make that decision.
yeah, but we had some interviews today, and we've got some strong candidates. And yeah, we're going to backfill, and
You're gonna
we'll
be
be
good.
rocking and
Oh, good.
rolling.
It's because you're awesome. You're great at what you do. That's another thing that I know Bruce appreciates, is that it's just kind of like set it and forget it with your department. You do so
it is
well
a
with it.
beautiful thing. Well, and that's the other thing is something to take note of is you guys are constantly looking for ways to improve the way you do things,
Yeah.
whether it's through implementation of new software. Because, I mean,
Like Bill
you just
Trust.
think a couple of years ago, the Zelix stuff, just you guys have taken something that was so manual in nature and you leverage technology to take some of the more mind-numbing stuff out of the process.
Which is what leads to people not liking their jobs.
Yeah.
If you just leave them in that minutia, you know, the stuff that really an automated program should be able to take care of. Yeah. If you can alleviate that, maybe they'll want to stay here longer.
Well, and we can reconcile our Ford statement in like less than 10 minutes.
Which is crazy with
And
the
it's-
amount of variances that are in Ford.
So many items, and it's like you just run it in, and it's like, oh, out of these hundred or thousands, I only need to look at 40.
Which is crazy.
And how long did it used to take you to do that?
Weeks.
I don't know that we ever got all the way through it. Be 100% honest.
Yeah.
That's when we were in fire mode, and it was like
Yeah.
we had so many vendors reaching out.
Yeah.
And statements were kind of our thing that fell to the wayside. We
Yeah.
did as much as we could, but I have always told my team, whether or not we can pay, we have to stay in communication with them.
Right.
Because if you stop communicating, everyone panics.
Yeah.
And so it's like we were making sure we were emailing them back quickly. We were making sure we were answering the phone. We were making sure all of those things. So like our statements just say, they were a priority, but they weren't getting done because we had all of these other things. And now
Right.
it's like we can reconcile all of our statements in a minimal amount of time and still do other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that you said that, that you make efforts to communicate so quickly, because on the flip side, as people are trying to pay us as Mountainland, if they go ghost on us,
Yeah.
that's
Makes you
when we
wonder.
panic.
Yeah.
Like, to use your word, that's like, oh crap, they went radio dark. Call everybody, try and get this figured out. And if we don't put our vendors in that situation, then that's what leads to them being so happy with us, and long-standing relationships that we've been able to foster over years. So thanks for doing that. Thanks for caring that much.
Yeah.
If you could give somebody some advice that works here, that's, upward mobile and they're ambitious and they want to progress at the company, what's some advice that you give them?
I would say look for what else you can help with.
Love it.
I feel like there's always something to do, something to learn. Like we can all sit in our own little world, but it's when you start asking around and saying like, hey, what are you doing? Like learning some of those other things.
Yeah.
Because those are all skills that'll help you
Yeah.
somewhere else in the company.
Yeah. We just talked to Brandon Barber, and he said something very similar. Make yourself as diverse as possible, because then whatever opportunity comes up, you will be more prepared for it. And that only comes by asking, hey, what else can I do? Give me something else.
Well, and challenge the process. Can you do it better?
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. That's Bruce's love language.
Could you put it in Excel?
Besides spreadsheets.
Efficiency is his love language.
It is. It really is.
I mean, yes. Yes.
Yes.
I understand.
Automating a process. It's beautiful.
Yeah, you guys do an amazing job.
really do.
Thanks for all you do. And thanks for having the courage to come on the podcast.
Yeah.
I know that it's not fun. And I know we all hate the sound of our own voice.
But this
thank
could
you.
be the first of many appearances on the
She's like, no, it won't.
It's like,
What we'll do is we'll have you come back in, and we'll have some of your people come in.
That would be fun.
That would
that
be fun.
would be fun.
Or we could collaborate with purchasing. We work quite well
Ooh.
together.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Yeah, we could do that. Okay.
This idea.
You got any more parting shots? You want to do a shout out to anybody?
Just shout out to my team. If it wasn't for all of them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
You're 100% right. And I always say thank you for doing what you do, because it puts shoes on my kids' feet. It really does. Everybody doing everything that they can do makes it easier for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, everybody out there. But thank you most especially to you, Natalie. You do a great job.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
Amen.
having me.
Of course. Bruce, you got anything else you want to say?
No, just echoing what Joey said. You're doing an amazing job. Your team's doing an amazing job, and we just appreciate. It's just a collective effort, and when everyone does, to your point, when they're lifting in the roles that they're in, it's amazing the things that we can accomplish together.
Yeah.
So thanks for all you guys do.
As one, right?
Yeah.
Shorts, if I was to give you 3 words to say, what would you say to me?
I love you.
Oh,
He set that one up.
that just felt so good.
There was a wink in.
there.
Was there a wink in there?
There was no
That's
wink.
great.
I just knew what he would say. There's love in the air today. Shorts loves me. And I feel good. Thank you, Natalie. Appreciate you. Thanks, everybody out there. Enjoy the ride. We'll see you down the road.